Hey everyone, this is Jonathan from Guitar Player Academy here, and today we're going over the top 5 ways to instantly improve your guitar playing. If you learned anything from this, please like the video and leave what you learned in the comments below. If I missed anything, make sure to put that in there as well. We might make a part 2 to this, so it'd be interesting to see what all of you guys think. If you find the rest of the channel really helpful, make sure to subscribe, and if you don't ever want to miss a Guitar Player Academy video, make sure to hit that notification bell. So, I think I've been playing for around 13 or 14 plus years, right? It's been a while with a lot of different teachers and a lot of different perspectives on how to play the guitar. But there's been some tips and tricks that they've given me, you know, throughout a lesson, throughout a jam session, whatever it is, throughout a gig, that I was able to apply instantly, opposed to just going home and practicing it for weeks and months, sometimes years, and hoping it would adapt into my playing, right? I was able to do these quick fixes that I found myself falling into, and I was able to improve my ability to play the guitar tenfold, like instantly. So I want to share some of those tricks with you guys. Number one, and I think one of the most popular, is where you put your thumb on the back of the neck, right? Sometimes I see a lot of guitar players, beginner to intermediate levels, creeping over the top. Now, there is a technique for that. A lot of guitar players do use it. However, in general use, I like to have my thumb halfway up the neck, relaxed. If I'm up here, I'm tense, and you can't play guitar efficiently tense. Your fingers are going to tire out. You're not going to be able to get notes out cleaner, right? I mean, even just look at my wrist. It's so bunched together because I have my thumb all the way up here. That doesn't look comfortable. I can't make it through a 4 or 5 minute song like this on every chord. Relax. Bring your shoulders down and just rest the back of your thumb right on the midpoint, right where your rod is in your neck. You kind of want to just rest it right there, and that way your fingers have plenty of room and relaxation to bend, to arch, to make sure that you can get that support. And when you're gonna go for a bend, absolutely bring your thumb up. But if you're just comping or playing or reading a line, I highly suggest putting your thumb like at the halfway point. It's super useful. Similarly, on the right hand, we talked about the left hand, now we're going to talk about the right hand. How you pick determines your tone. Obviously, tone comes a lot from the left hand as well, but picking can really determine how advanced you sound as a player. You know, for example, if I play a line like this, I'll put on some distortion here. Okay, that sounds good. It's aggressive, but I'm like choke holding my pick here. And if I just loosened up and picked lighter and let my guitar do more of the work and my amp do more of the work, it's gonna sound something like this. Different sound, but far more manageable and far cleaner. Far cleaner. You can hear the difference even more when it's clean. Right? Something like that, opposed to, right? You hear the difference. The second one was so much cleaner, and I did nothing different on my left hand. All I did was just take my guitar pick, just relax, don't choke up on it, don't go right to the edge, leave a good amount of space, and let my left hand technique do most of the work. But I'm not, you hear that? Like that, it's like the extra, I don't know, plastic from the pick hitting the pick guard, or it's bad technique. It's not good for your instruments, it's not good for your tone, and I would imagine, again, it's the same type of thought process with here. You're tense. It's not good for you as a player, right? So that's number 2. Please loosen up on your guitar pick. Pick lighter. You know, I have a great jazz instructor that tells me all the time when I'm soloing and I'm thinking, I subconsciously pick heavier. And he looks at me sometimes. He's like, "Why are you overcompensating your confidence when you play notes harder?" And I asked him, I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you know, if you're in a jam session and you're really like right, that's over exaggerating, but if you're really going like that, people are gonna know, not intuitively and not like consciously, but they're gonna know that your playing isn't as smooth as the last guy that walked in. And it's because you're overthinking and you're choking up on your pick. Don't fall into that trap. It's super easy. Just kind of get loose with it, and you're going to see that your tone improves tenfold. Speaking kind of on the same mark as tone, tip number 3 is feeling each note. Not just playing it, but feeling it. Each note in music as a whole has a soul and a life to its own. Right? That's kind of the reason why we all got into music, right? You heard an album, a song, a guitar solo, right? That moved you as a player. And you said, I want that. You didn't know that they were playing, you know, a major scale or an altered dominant scale or whatever you heard. You know, you didn't know what they were doing musically. All you knew was that it made you feel something. And you want that to be translated to your own playing. You know, for example, switching over to distortion again, if I play a line like this, right? I have so much emotion in those notes, right? And a lot of it comes from our 4th tip, which is listening. But when you're playing, right, you don't want to just be thinking like, okay, bending up, you know, on the 9th degree, going up to my minor 3rd, walking down the scale, you know, do a couple bends here and there. You don't even want to think. You don't want to think. Think about how you say a sentence. Right? You're not thinking of how the sentence is grammatically correct and the science behind grammar and why the English language flows like it does, yada yada. You're not thinking like that. All you're saying is just the words that naturally come out of you in a certain tone of voice, a certain expression, but the words still just come out. You want your guitar playing to be like speaking. It's great in the practice room, right? You know, to be thinking like, oh, okay, all right, like, you know, harmonically speaking, I'm over this chord, and that means I can use these tensions, and yada, yada, yada. That's great. That's great. And that's how I practice, right? I really think of the science of things when I'm in the practice room. But when I'm playing my instrument, it's the same thing to me as being at a podium and giving a speech or making a YouTube video like this. You want to let the words flow naturally, let the notes flow naturally. Feel each note. You know, notes convey a certain type of emotion over a certain type of chord. You know, if you're playing something and it has a somber, tuned sound to it, you know, you want to complement that. You don't want to kind of go crazy with it and say, oh, well, I'm just gonna flash up and down and play as many notes as possible, or as I play whatever I can to impress people. No, have a conversation. It's like reading an essay. You know, and you get the essay in front of you, and it's written by someone super smart, and you're reading it through, and you're like, I didn't understand a single word of that. I know it's impressive, but I didn't understand a single word of it. Yeah, you don't want that to be your music. Create a melody. Create a sentence. Really, I stress that. That's one of my number 1 tips. Create a sentence. Tell a story. You hear about that every single time. I feel like in a lot of my videos pertain to like how to solo or in songs and whatever, songwriting, and you just want to tell a story. Please tell a story. Don't let any of these notes go to waste, and feel every word/notes that it can evict a certain emotion. Right? That's a huge tip. Okay, tip number 4 is listening to the greats, and it doesn't just mean listen to the people you think are great. I know a lot of the time, you know, myself included, I'll fall into this trap as well. I am heavily influenced by George Benson. George Benson's a great example. I love George Benson, right? Someone looks at me and says, hey, you know, Neil Schon, who I also love, but for sake of conversation here, Neil Schon is an incredible guitar player. I mean, he does all this great stuff, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know, but no George Benson. I'm only gonna listen to George Benson. The Breezin' album, it's a great album. You know, I'm not going to listen to any Journey album. Sorry, that's not the same. Don't have that mindset. Music is music. I promise you, if somebody else knows about a song, they did something that connected with that person. So it worked. It's worth studying. Right? So, you know, I for myself, I grew up listening to a lot of blues, you know, and a lot of classic rock. And then I really got moved into the rockabilly scene. I really got moved into the jazz scene. And I was very hesitant at first. I was like, oh no, like, am I really gonna, you know, like this stuff? Do I feel like it's kind of a waste? Like, what do I do? And I don't really connect with anyone here. And then I really started to open my ears up to it. And I instantly, from listening to, again, George Benson, the Breezin' album, I was able to listen to it. I remember I listened to it on my whole ride home from school. And I got home and I picked up my guitar and I started using some of the licks I heard. It was beautiful. It was like instant. You know what I mean? And I think listening to people intently, actively, not passively, you know, music has kind of become a passive thing while you're doing the dishes or folding laundry, you're listening to music. That's good, but be active, be intentful. Take certain sections of songs that you love and mark them down and then go back and study them later, right? But listening across the board, listen to some Neil Sean, listen to George Benson, listen to John Mayer, listen to John Scofield, you know, Pat Martino, you know, all these different guys that are heroes, and you know, Joe Satriani and Steve Vai and all these guys. Just listen to them all, because I promise if they are famous, they did something right, they figured something out that, quite frankly, both you and I have not figured out yet. So it's worth studying. It's so worth studying. You're gonna learn something from it. So listen to the greats, no matter the genre. Lastly, and I know this is probably the scariest, go outside your comfort zone when it comes to soloing. The only way you can really get better at soloing or at playing your guitar is allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to hit some wrong notes. Okay? You know, a great story of mine. I was younger. It was one of my first live gigs, and I had been taught the classic minor pentatonic, right? And we were playing a blues tune, and I was soloing, and eventually I heard from listening, I was listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan a lot, and I heard, now that sharp 4 is outside that box, but I was on stage and I could hear where the line was going from listening, and I just said I have to go for it. I don't even know where that note is at the time. I didn't know, it was only a half step away, but I said I have to find it. It's the perfect line for right here in this moment. And so I went for it. And because I went for it that one time when I was like 15, I have kept it as a staple as part of my blues playing. And all I had to do was go outside of this box that I was comfortable in. Doesn't matter if it's this box, if it's that box, if it's that box, doesn't matter. Whatever box you're comfortable in, go outside it. I went outside it by half a step, 1 fret, and it unlocked like 30 different types of licks I could do. Because once I heard that, I heard other things. And I was able to keep building and 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 building. But I would have never gotten there if I never gave myself permission to go for it and take a chance, get outside my box. You know, let's say I make a wrong note and I go, you know, it's not a wrong note, but it wasn't what I was shooting for, but that's okay. I'll get it next time. I'll get it next time. And that's what it is. This music is an art form. And it's not an art form typically that, you know, you rehearse, you know, 1,000 to 1,000,000 times and you play note for note exactly what you're playing. You know, if you're in a studio, sure. If you're writing an album, sure. But when you're on stage, especially improvising, it's improv. It's the there and the now. You know, and if you're not willing to go outside your comfort zone, you're limiting yourself. And that is the most detrimental thing you can do to your playing. So, but that's pretty much it. That's the top 5 things that improved my guitar playing instantly. I found them super helpful when teachers would point out, that I was choking up on the neck, I was picking too hard, I wasn't listening enough to greats, that I should go outside my wheelhouse. All these things I was able to apply to my playing and then fix it instantly. And, obviously with time it got better and better and better, but the application to these skills are instant. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please like it. Check out some other videos. We talked a lot about soloing, and I actually have an ongoing series right now called How to Solo, where I'm breaking it down piece by piece on my philosophy of soloing. So if you're interested in that, it'll be somewhere on one of these flags. I'll also have it pinned at the end. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.